We frequently make minor changes to our trip as we go along, but this one was a pretty big deviation. We went from going to Newfoundland through Nova Scotia to going on the Labrador Highway when we found out that it was fully paved. Sounded like a great idea, and in retrospect it probably was, but at the time it was pretty challenging. The Labrador Highway is totally paved. What we didn't know when we started out on this adventure was that the first 356 miles of the Trans-Quebec Highway had about 100 miles of gravel road. As we left Baie-Comeau, we were excited about getting underway. The hydroelectric plants along the way were very interesting, and the scenery was really gorgeous. It was at our first gas stop at a little over 200 miles that we discovered that Labrador is known for its black flies. If that isn't bad enough, it was just after that gas stop that we encountered the gravel road. Now, bear in mind that this isn't like the road that you're thinking about. This is a road that every 200 plus, between 200 and 250 miles, there is a gas station. Other than the gas stations, there are no homes, no people, no towns between them. I mentioned black flies a minute ago, but our first night when we pulled off the side of the road for the evening was where we really first encountered them. They were in clouds. There was no way to escape them, no way to keep them out of the RV. It really was pretty miserable. On the second day, after chatting with the neighbors that pulled in after us at the little pull-off, we took off, and it wasn't long after that it started raining. And you know what happens when you're on a gravel road and it rains? You end up with mud. And we had mud caked to the RV, to the truck, everywhere. Sometime before we got to Labrador City, we were back on blacktop again. Really nice. And Labrador City, while it's tiny, was big enough to have a small Walmart. It felt like we were back in civilization. The brakes had started growling the day before, so with the help of Walmart and Canadian Tire, Randy was able to get what he needed to change the front brake pads in the Walmart parking lot. 4 people stopped to offer assistance. Pretty cool. Churchill Falls is a tiny town of a little over 700 people. It is home to the Churchill Falls Generating Station and is a company town, but it was a place to park for an overnight. This is the extent of the services, and it's all in one building. We had been having trouble with the slide since New York and had been putting it in and out on override. It was in Happy Valley, however, that the motor stopped altogether, and the only way to put it in and out was for Randy to crawl under one end and crank it by hand while I used the override for the opposite end. Not impossible, but it's a royal pain, and we'll show you that in a separate video. But it's now evident that we're going to have to get a motor sent up to Newfoundland from Arizona. We were able to make those arrangements with an RV dealer, and so we'll show you that also in a future video. We made it to the coast 2 days before our ferry ticket, so we did a little exploring while we were here. I have to say though, I'm not going to be sad to leave Labrador.